Good evening. Good evening, my friends. I hope that you guys are doing good. It's it's one of those days again where we are struggling with technology and we are hit with load shedding. But it's fine. We are going to continue. I'm just hoping that I won't be cut off because of load shedding. But if I do, we shall have this conversation again. But in the meantime, let's continue to talk about what we were talking about for the past 3 weeks. Is the fourth week now, been discussing parenthood, the challenges that comes with parenthood, and the factors that we can actually use it to better ourselves. So last week I shared about different types of parenting styles that I spoke about last week. So before that, please, if ever also or like our Facebook page, please do that. It's called Conversations Princess D, and also our YouTube channel, Conversations Princess D. Please invite your friends, tell your friends to tell their friends that Princess D, every Tuesday at 6 o'clock, we go live and we talk about multiple of our social issues. So now today we are continuing with the parenting. So, but last week it was parenting as leadership. So this week we are talking about a healed parent. Remember, all this time I've been sharing my journey. So now you can also share your journey with us. You just have to contact me. You can write an email, conversations with princessd@gmail.com, or you can inbox me, Dina Chris Moloja, and yeah, then we can talk about your experiences so that you can share with us your stories. So even today I'm continuing with my journey as a young parent. Remember, Olarato, my daughter is only 6 years, so everything that I've been sharing are the mistakes that I've done with her, what I've learned through her, and also the challenges that I continue to face, and how I'm dealing with those, and what I have learned thus far. I'm not an expert. I'm not saying I'm an expert. It's only been 6 years of parenting, though I parented my sister's kids. But I think because I'm not staying with them, their parenting and Olerado's parenting is a bit different. And whatever must you try by all means not to make the mistakes that your parents did with you. So that I think that's what I've been doing, and that's why I saw it fit for me to share my challenges, my mistakes, and my journey as a young parent. So today we are continuing with the parenting. Then we are talking about a healed parent. I love how Dan is saying it. He's saying that in the absence of reflection, history often repeats itself. Research has clearly demonstrated that our children's attachment to us will be influenced by what happened to us when we were young if we do not come to process and understand those experiences. As I was reading this, I actually reflected on my life and how much mistakes I did ka Olagado because of my childhood experiences, because of the trauma that I experienced, because of those unhealed wounds that I still had. I was not even aware. That is the danger. I was not even aware that I'm still broken. I was not even aware that I'm still wounded. So it was through me parenting her where I got to see my wounds, where I got to see that some wounds that I thought had qeta pholoswa di fodile ne di soka di folwa, up until yena pressed those right buttons where I was triggered. Then through the trigger, I responded in a manner I never wanted to respond to my own child. So that's why I'm speaking about a healed parent. So you have to That's where the reflection comes in. So I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share with you 5. In fact, there are more, but I'm going to focus on 5 aspects that I believe that assisted me, or that I had to actually look through for me to actually say, oh, what's again, Gina? You are still broken, you are still wounded. And if you do not deal with these wounds, you're going to bleed to your own child. Then the cycle is going to continue, which is what we don't want. The idea is to make sure that our kids grow up to be better people. We try to give them an experience that we did not have. That's the beauty of parenting. I feel like I'm given a second chance of living. Well, I'm not going to live through my child, but I feel like I'm given a second chance to not to undo, but to heal, to do better than the way my parents did things. But for me to do that, I have to reflect. I have to go back. I had to visit my past. I had to revisit my story, rewrite it in order for me to give it a new perspective and a new definition. That's where I got to learn all those things. So now let's start. I'm going to start with number 1. Number 1, I want us, Nalwena, as parents, even if you don't have kids right now, but one day you're going to be a parent or you desire to be one, we need to be conscious parent. What do I mean by that? I spoke about triggers. I spoke about how in this journey of parenting that your own children can trigger you. Your own children can trigger you, and you might respond in a manner that your parents responded when you triggered them. This one time, and all that. I can't remember exactly what she did, but she triggered me, and I ended up shouting. I was shouting at her. Then she was quiet. As I was busy getting and all that, she was quiet. Then after that, she said to me, why are you shouting? Right there, I had to pause. I had to click my pause button. And I said to myself, she got a point. Vele, why am I shouting? Then that's where I realized I am shouting, or I am raising up my voice to her because I'm used to it. That is how I grew up. Every time I get into something at home, me wa ka nna o lerata, me wa ka nna do entse lerata. That is okay. Ban pizza daina he go high. Once I have black people, and they will be calling you Dafita or David or when I'm so Lin Naban Pizza Dina, which is okay. I understand, you know, mas. So basically, Dina, hey, man, just we're on pizza dinner. So when I'm pizza dinner, so me on omanya every time I get into something, Dina, this and that. So build that in me. Hore, whenever I'm triggered or I'm provoked, the only manner I know how to respond is to make a noise. Nobody taught me how you can put your points or your argument on the table or abroad without even making a noise. So here I was making a noise. Why? Because that's the parenting that I know. That's the parenting that I was introduced to. And the very thing that my mother did to me, I'm doing it to ngwanaka. Ke mensa lerata because lerata ke ntho kasi, lerata ke ntho hae. Nna ha rona ha re bua, you will swear hore ra lwana. Re lerata. Wabo. So Olerato is a different child. And it is within her right to say, Mommy, when you talk to me, I don't want you to raise up your voice. Can you just talk to me because these ears can actually hear? So you don't even have to shout. That's where I realized, what's again, I'm still broken. That's where the unlearning comes in. I had to unlearn what I was taught or what I experienced or what was introduced as a normal thing in my life. Right now is not normal. Right now is not conducive for the family that I'm building, for the relationship that I'm trying to build with my own daughter. So that's why getting the triggers might take you back. That's why I'm going to talk about the before you and the after you. That was before. Everything that happened, it happened before me now. So that it is so surprising that our past, our experiences can actually influence how we react to certain situation. So you can ask yourself now, how many things we are doing, not because we want to do them, but because they are built in our system. Because that's what I believe. I think that's why I'm so vigilant how I do things with Olaraja, because she's only 6 years. And I believe okay, ke nako eo ngwana ka yena re tlamehile o buildang confidence ya hae. Ke nako eo ngwana o buildang self value mo go yena. Ha ntse ka a hola, aging ena ya 5 to 8 years. If not 4 to 8, I can't remember correctly. But this is the age where you are building system ya ngwana. Because hansa ya ahola go tlo dependa gona systeming ya hae ke eng, what were you pouring in her system. So nna at that time in a lerata. So here I am, a 40 something year old, ha ke kgalmela ngwana ntse ke tsa lerata. Is it necessary though? No, it's not. That means it is in my system. That means I need to unlearn it so that I introduce myself in a new way of doing things. So now, ha ke bua le nna, ke mo kgalemela hantle, Dondo, ke itse wena don't do 1 2 3, and you continue to do that. Mara o tlo bone hore the danger of a system. Systems are very important. The danger of a system is that for you to unlearn things, it's a process. It's not going to happen overnight. Just because ke realize it does not mean if ke realize I'm not going to repeat it again. I'm still repeating it even now. But I needed to remind myself I needed to remind myself of my new normal. Dina, this is your new normal. This is how you ought to do things with your child now. There was this time, not so long ago, I think last month, then ke buile le ena hantle. Akere tlamehile ke bue le ena hantle. Don't do. I don't like you doing that. Stop doing that. So she was persistent. She kept on doing that. Then I said to her, girl, you don't want me to go to the location now. How mpate ke kasi? So please, obana mama o bua le ena hantle. Ke kopa o mmamele, because now ke tla ya kwa ho koko. Ke mo ke ya kae mo ke tsebang teng. Ke ya kae where I'm used to, because that is basically that is my normal. That's why holding so difficult hore ha o so le moholo e be le hona o unlearning certain behaviors. They are better when they are developed ha o ntse le monyane, the good habits. That's where I think ke part 2 mo ke buileng ka as instilling good morals in our kids system. Hore e rela ba hola, it's in their system. You just cannot take out something osolomoholo. It's a process, about difficult. And some of us, we don't have time to unlearn certain things. So instead of us unlearning things, we rather move past them. We rather not face them. That's why I think we are still broken generation. That's why I think the cycle continues, which is number 2. Remember, number 1, we need to be conscious parents. Number 2, you need to be intentional about breaking the cycle. How do you break that cycle? By pausing. For me, I had to pause and reflect. Why am I making noise when I'm trying to reprimand my child, when I'm trying to rebuke my child? Why can't I just have a conversation with her? You cannot be doing 1 2 3. The reason why mommy doesn't want 1 2 3 is because of 1 2 3. Why can't I sit down with her and have a conversation with her so that I can actually hear what she has to say about that certain matter? So now, breaking the cycle, you are making sure that whatever trauma that you went through, went through, whatever pain, hurt, disappointments, rejection, whatever, everything that you went through, you were the last one to go through that. But for that to happen, you need to break the cycle. And you need to be intentional about it. That's where it will reflect on. That's where you're going to visit your past. That's where you're going to revisit your story, your own journey. What actually happened? What are the things that broke you? What are the things that you wish your parents could have done right? Kawena? Those things you are having at that conversation. Ooh, I love conversations because Lina, my life is inspired by the conversations that I have with myself. That's why the name Conversations Princess Day. I was actually having conversations with myself. Even for you to break the cycle, you need to have those personal convictions. You need to sit down with yourself and interrogate your past. And believe in me, it's a painful journey because some of the things that happen to us are very horrible. They are terrible, and some of us, we did not want to go back because going back, it means those emotions are going to come. And when they come, you do not know what you will do to yourself. So sometimes that's why we don't want to revisit our past because sometimes they are so painful that we are afraid to get in touch with those emotions, to get in touch with who we used to be. But you need to make sure that who you used to be does not become who you are in your present time. So that's why you need to be intentional about breaking the cycle. Bana baka, they are not going to experience the same pain, trauma, hate, rejection, and lack of self-love the way I experience them. I'm going to love them better. I'm going to listen to them. Whatever I went through, I have to heal from it. I have to heal from it so that I become a peaceful parent. Remember, when you are at peace, I don't know about you, Mkhozwaka, but when I am at peace, that's where I'm at my best. Because a peaceful mind can think thoroughly. A peaceful mind is conscious. A peaceful mind can actually see what's again. More I'm making a mistake. More I'm not doing things right. Money, I need to change certain things for me to achieve this. You are clear, you are at your best when you are peaceful. That is why I encourage that we need to break the cycle. So, for that to happen, whenever you are triggered, pause and ask yourself, okay, let me share this again. There was this one time by Naboswaka Batlile Hunamunana. So now, whenever we enter something, only trigger my father or whatever, every time he will threaten that like hi. Like how you saying, how you saying, what's how you saying. So now, only to find out that as much as that is part of the things that broke us when we were growing up, Bona, I think it was building in my system. This one time, this other one, ke ne ke ba benne ke tsa ba sebedise di-phone. So ne ke patile phone tsa bona. This one other one kind of o batla phone ya hae a ba ifumane mo e leng teng without my knowledge. So I was very angry. I was very upset. Then I said to her, ke tla o bena haka. That simply means ke tla o leleka haka. Mpotsa now, where did I learn that? From my father. Because that's what he used to do to us. Whenever he entse something, azange ba dula le ngwana fatshe a go bolella hore bana ba ka ha ke rate 1 2 3, bana ba ka you cannot be doing 1 2 3, bana ba ka this and that. He did not do that, and that on its own ile ya re breaker. Not only that, it traumatized us. But guess what? Because one has not yet healed because of the trauma they had, the pain, the rejection, and all that. I was becoming him. Right there, I had to pause again. I had to press my pause button and say, Dina, you are becoming your father. that is not what you want. So already I had to correct myself. So I remember I said I'm not an expert. So it means that Lena, I'm making mistakes almost every single day. But for you to learn from your own mistakes, sometimes you have to talk about them. Sometimes you have to warn people about them. We are all striving to be better. So I had to learn to press the pause button whenever I'm triggered, whenever you know what, I'm actually becoming my father here. You know what, here I think I'm becoming my mother, and I don't want that. I don't want my kids to experience the same pain and trauma that I experienced, but I need to do things differently. For you to get different results, you need to do what? You have to implement different solutions or different approach to that same thing. So again, number 3, you need to understand how emotions work. You know what I've realized? Hey, this thing is deep. One thing that I realized again, gore, anger can be biological. You might find yourself angry not because of something that someone did to you, not because of what you have experienced, but because of something that you took from your parents. That means you are angry and you don't understand now, why am I angry? Here I am, I'm a parent. I mean, I'm just an angry parent. But here's the thing, my father and my mother, my parents, they did the best with me. I'm actually the best child. They took me to the best school, bang pilo almost everything that I want. But hands ke hola, ufumana hore you are angry. You have this anger issues that you don't know na these are guy, but only to find out hore they are biological. Because while your mother was maybe pregnant with you, or experienced certain emotions or certain anger, then yaba instilled in you, then you have this anger that that you don't know anything about. Just like what? Just like the chronic diseases. Anger is one of them. It's one of those chronic diseases that can be derived from your parents. So those are the things that you need to be aware of. You need to be aware of your emotions. Well, what's again at this point in time, I am too angry. I am too upset. That's why the Bible says that we must be slow to anger. Because when you are angry, you might say things that you do not mean. And remember, like Sesotho se tjho hore lentswe ha se monwana ha le kgutle. That's why Bible we ought to be careful of what we say with our mouth, because ka melomo ya rona re ka aha ebile re ka heletsa. So re le batswadi ra tseba bagotswadi ba bang o tla fana ha ba gamela bana ba bitsa bo meleko kwa mona moleko towe kwa mona satane towe ngwana ha sa gola e ba moleko ha sa gola e ba satane, then o bo go ngwana ha o lowe, but ngwana ha o lowe kwena because ka molomo wa hao o ka aha ebile o ka heletsa. Some of our destinies they are delayed, or they have been assassinated by what our own parents ba di buile maphelong a rona. But you need to be aware of such also. You need to be aware of the emotions that actually control your present time. You can only be aware of that if you reflect, if you are aware of how you were brought up, if you are aware of the things that your parents, your siblings, or your family members did to you that broke you, to make sure that the same wound, instead of you allowing it to bleed in your kids, you heal yourself. And parenting is such a beautiful job, because believe in me, it teaches you about yourself. Most of the things that I've learned about myself, I learned them through parenting. If I was not a parent, believe in me, I was not going to be aware of my brokenness. I was not going to be aware of my wounds. So number 4, reflect on your own story. which is something that I just said now, that you need to go back. You need to visit those areas that you know that your parents messed you up. This other one time, I think I can't remember in Sana kapa nele Osmosa, but I was actually sharing with them that was again, now the way my father treated us, he created a man in me. I'm hardly a woman. I think I once said this. I'm hardly, believe it in me. The way I think, the way I do things, you will swear that I'm a man. And in most cases, when I retaliate, it's because of everything that he did. So now, for me to actually be a woman, especially good people in a relationship, the reason why I'm struggling even in my current relationship is because my father created a man in me. That man is like nobody's business. I do not know how to be vulnerable. I don't know how to be a woman. Those are the things that I had to be aware of. Those are the things that I'm working on because I'm aware of them. And remember, I'm not a man. I cannot be going around acting like one. If I'm serious about building a family, a stable, healthy family, it must start with me. So that's why reflecting on your own story, reflecting on your own journey, checking and seeing how things were done. What are the things that broke you to make sure that you don't end up bleeding on these kids? As I close, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to address this other one. Number 5, distress. Good people, I think it was my first the first part of parenthood. I spoke about us being busy generation. We are a busy generation. We do a lot of things. This one time I was busy working, right? So now can ignite stress. Some say conversations Princess D. I need to build content. Unleashing the hidden. I have projects. I must organize events and all that is a lot. Research is showing me flames is a lot. So I was busy. I remember about I think I was writing an article. So she was asking for something. I can't remember something, but I lashed out on her. I end up saying what's like stress. Already don't add on my plates. I already have enough on my plate. I'm lashing out on an innocent person. Immediately, I pressed that pause button. You remember I spoke, number 2, I spoke about the pause button. I had to press that pause button and say, you know what? This is not fair. I'm not being fair on her. Then, when obviously no global then what's about that? Then she went out. I had to another room. Then I called her. Then I apologized the way ke buileng le nna ka teng. Then I tried to focus on here when okay van eng. Then she told me, oh, no, I was asking for 1, 2, 3. Then I apologized, I hugged her and all that. But those are the mistakes that we keep on doing. And these are the things say etsang hore bana ba rona ba be broken. Bana ba rona ba longe for our presence because when we are busy, we don't even want to be disturbed. But I believe that, like right now, she's in another room, and I told her I'm going to have a meeting right now. I don't need you to disturb me like you did. Sorry, like you did last week. Last week she was busy disturbing me. So now, Kabualen. So now I'm learning. I am also learning to ke bue le ena like motho a nang le kelello a kgonang ho understand, and with the trust and belief that whatever message I'm trying to put across, she's going to take it and she's going to honor it. And if she doesn't, I have to be patient enough, like who? Like our Father in heaven, who is patient enough with us. Imagine I keep on messing up each and every day. I keep on going to him and asking for forgiveness. The very same love that He's showing us. That is the same love and patience that we can show to our kids. And let us not allow our stress to make us demons. Let us not allow our stress, our frustrations of life to create an enemy between wena le bana ba hao kapa wena le ngwana hao. In closing, I want to talk about this one. Remember, those things that I shared, those things that I shared with you are from the before. If oka check out those are the things that I learned from me being traumatized, me being a broken child, how my parents raised me, and how my system is built, and that the building is actually coming out now. And when we realize what the fruits of whatever that they were pouring in us is not good fruits. They are not good for my own child. They are not good for me. So now you need to heal yourself. When you heal yourself, you need to revisit your past. You need to revisit your story. You need to make sure you are honest with yourself. Not like I told you, I had to be honest with myself. Dina, you are broken. You are still traumatized. And if you don't do something about this, you are going to bleed on your child. And you might not even get to the destination that you want to get to. That's how healing is important, because it can even affect your destiny. It can even affect the goals that you have about your own life. That's why, as a parent, it's very important for you to heal. But here's the thing, happy. Okay, now we'll get out in doubles, but let me share this. Olerato, okay, some of us, in fact, most of us, but me right now, are single parents. Some are still angry at the baby daddy, because the baby daddy has a part ya bophelo ba ngwana, kapa the baby daddy ha etsetse ngwana letho, but yet o na le di-means tsa ho etsetsa ngwana. Here's the thing with that. When you have healed, you are going to realize that this child needs her or his father. Whether you like it or not, ngwana o hloka ntate wa hae. And if the father does not want to be part of the child's life, it's beyond you. That's where you get to be. When you are a conscious parent, you get to realize what's like, I cannot be suffering because of someone's decision. They have decided, and remember, Libona, in their decision, they have decided that because they are broken. Because how honor someone in their right state of mind who will just neglect their seed. So them neglecting their seed, it shows that they are suffering from something. But you have to choose not to be part of the suffering. If we really love our kids, please, we must heal. And part of heal, and when you have healed, you are going to make peace with the decisions of our hore ntate o decide ho tswa bophelong ba ngwana wa hae. And is beyond you. The least you can do when as a mother is to be there for your child, is to try to hustle for your child, which I'm very proud of you guys, because you guys, most of you guys are doing that. But most of you guys are still angry at these daddies or at these fathers who are not there for their kids, at these fathers who are not doing anything for their kids. You need to let go. Just let go and heal yourself. You deserve that. Do that for yourself and do that for your kids. Both of you, or the three of you, or the four of you, you deserve better. Give yourself that better. It is not worth it. Believe in me. It is not worth you carrying the bitterness, the anger because of someone's decision. They have decided. Le wena, today I'm asking you, decide to heal. Decide to do things better for yourself. And remember, when you have healed, you are at peace. And when you are at peace, you attract all these good things, all these goodies, all these beautiful things, all these good energies, beautiful energies. You attract them. The reason why they say you attract who you are is because of what your spirit carry. And the last thing that you want is for your spirit to carry bitterness, anger, resentment because of someone's decision. Free yourself and forgive, heal, move forward. That's the least you can do for yourself. So, Banabajesu, from me, the princess, I wanted to share with you that let us be a healed generation so that we can break the cycle. The only way for us to break the cycle is for us to be intentional about healing. You deserve that. Give yourself that. That is the least that you can do for yourself and for your child. Bana beso nakwenta botse. Ke tla le bona hape next week Tuesday, same time, same place. Twede, I will see you next week.